is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We are going to talk to Manny Navarro now, our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Not that there's a lot going on with the Canes, but of course you can follow my man Manny Navarro on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. And of course, go to Caneswear.com. Go to the website because right now you can't go to the store. They're closed. But go to Caneswear.com and you can order anything Canes related, Inter Miami, Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Florida Panthers, Miami Marlins. It's all there. All right, let's bring Manny aboard. Mr. Navarro, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Just came back from picking up some groceries at Publix. I did that Instacart thing.
Okay.
And worked out great, man. That's how we're doing our shopping now.
What is Instacart? They just bring it out to your car?
Basically, yeah. You give them the grocery list. They pack everything up in a bag, and they bring it to you and put it in the car.
All
and
right.
you put a bunch of hand sanitizer on and all that, gloves, and you bring it in the house.
All right. So you got gloves on, huh?
I had them on before, yeah, and then took them off, and then you gotta throw them away. It's the way this thing works, man. I mean, I don't know. It's a scary time, man. It is. It's like I haven't really gone out of the house that often, so this is the last 3 weeks where I've gone out and basically a grocery run and to walk the dog. That's it. Those are the only times I'm out.
Yeah. Yesterday I only went out one time to get some food, and I came right back, and that's it. That's all I did, man. I went and got Flanagan's. I went to Flanagan's and I didn't even get off the car either. I drove right up. It's on 127th and Kendall Drive. That one. You just drive up, you sign the receipt, and then you're done. That's it. They hand you your food, and you don't even get off or anything at this point.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly we've all sort of just adapted to this life, but. There's so much I miss just being, I actually miss being in traffic, man. Like I could listen to radio, listen to podcasts. In the house here, I'm either in the office working or when I'm downstairs, the kids have control of the TV and the entertainment and whatever it is that they're doing in the house with their tablets, and they want all the attention. So I missed that a long time when they were at school, when the wife was at work, when I could ride around, listen to your show and call in and all that. I miss it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. We're gonna miss our regular life for a little while here, and hopefully we'll get it back. Just a little college news because there's really nothing with the Canes, but I thought it was at least smart for the NCAA to give the spring athletes a year of eligibility. Your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, I thought it was a no-brainer. These kids obviously to have something like this taken away. We always forget the number of athletes that get scholarships or even partial scholarships, like in baseball, for instance, and how this is their entire world because they're not going to play in the pros. A lot of them aren't even going to get to the minor leagues. And to get the opportunity to get that extra year back in light of everything that's happened is really important. I know it sucks. There's some high school seniors and so forth that are missing out on their senior events, but for the college kids, this was the smart decision, and I'm glad to see that a couple of these kids are going to decide to come back and take that extra year of eligibility. I'm interested to see how the scholarship situation works out and how all those things are affected. But essentially, the opportunity is there to come back, and it was a smart decision by the NCAA.
Yeah, no, it was the right thing to do. What your thoughts? Did you hear Kirk Herbstreit's comments?
Yeah, that we're not going to have football.
Yeah. Are you willing to go that far?
Obviously we don't know the science of all this, but, sitting here thinking about the way the world is, the situation that we're in, I don't know. There was an article written by the Associated Press about that soccer game that was played 2 days before they shut Italy down up there in the northern part of Italy that has all those people dying. And I think there were 45,000 people in attendance to that soccer game, and they were able to trace back over 1,000 people who picked up the coronavirus just from being at that game. And so, to me, to have large gatherings with fans, I think we're a long ways away from that. I mean, I don't know if I would say we're going to completely wipe out football. It's several months away. I mean, tomorrow's April 1st, so another 4 or 5 months before football season really gets cranked up and going. But to me, the fact that this thing's able to spread so easily, I think without a cure, without something that you can inject in your system to protect yourself against this thing, I just don't. I don't see how we're going to have large gatherings, man. And I don't know if they can create something that quickly in 4 to 5 months. I keep hearing people say, they've got all these things that are in the works. The doctors are trying different medicines and so forth. But you have to think to mass produce that and to be able to say, hey, you can go to a sporting event and cheer and scream and be next to somebody who has it and not get sick. I think until we get to that point, man, it's going to be hard to have sports with fans in it. The thing I could definitely see happening, though, is the empty stadiums. I don't know if they would do that for football, but I certainly think they could do that in the NBA. They could do that in hockey. They could do it in those type of situations because the only people in there are the athletes and the referees, and you would have to obviously test people and constantly be on top of it. But I think big sporting events like football, where you're going to have tailgating and all kinds of stuff like that, I think we're a ways away from that, man.
Well, I don't. Did you see what the Premiership's going to do? Because I've been talking about this on my show for the last week. Because when the idiots in the NBA wanted to do without fans and just play, I said you can't do that, and I said it then that you would have to actually keep everybody in a plastic bubble, basically, and away from everybody. You would have to have all the players, coaches, trainers, and broadcasters, and the camera people and all that. They all have to be in a group together, all traveling together, all away from everybody. They can't associate with their family members, their friends. They can't go out to clubs. They can't see their IG models. None of that crap has to. I mean, it would become Big Brother / NBA, Big Brother / college football, Big Brother whatever. And that's exactly what the English Premiership is thinking of doing. That they put everybody in one area with a bunch of pitches, and they all live together, eat together, sleep together, play against each other, and finish out the final 2 months of the season. How do we pull that off in American sports?
It's not going to be easy, and that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, we have to get to the point with science and doctors and medicine that we can honestly prevent this from being spread. Because obviously, I know it affects people differently, and technically the percentage of people dying globally who have it's still a very low number, but still it's the interaction with the regular people, because obviously the athletes are in tip-top shape, right? I mean, they're going to be able to survive getting this, but it's the grandfathers and the older people and the people with health issues that just cannot be exposed to this at all. So I could see it happening. I could see, I mean, shoot, why not do it with the NCAA tournament, right? Pick the 65 team field. And you 2 weeks, you get the thing done. You play it over several nights, and you keep these athletes in a confined space for 2 weeks, and you get the thing over with. You could do it that way if it's just the teams, the 64, 65 teams in a small, very protected area. But again, it's going to the extremes to get this done. And the NBA athletes, are they going to be willing to do that? Would they spend a month or a month and a half to get, everything done so they could play all the playoff games and finish the regular season or whatever it is that they decide to do? I don't know. I think if it was just a tournament, you could probably do it. But an entire season, that's out of the question. Like I said, the NCAA tournament, you could do it. Because how many games is that? 64 games or whatever it is total? I think you could do it. But beyond that, it's a full season. Those type of things just aren't going to happen.
How could you do football? I mean, football with that many players?
No, you couldn't do. That's what I'm saying. I think to me, it has to be sports where it's only small amounts. Smaller teams, 15 players, an NBA team, right? 15 players and the coaching staff. That's 20 people. You could figure that out. You could do something like that. But to do 85, 90 players, You know, look, if we really want this to happen, I think the NBA does. I think the NBA would be the first one to come back and do it. But Major League Baseball, I mean, they're not going to play 162 games like that. There's no way.
Yeah.
To me, everything would have to be sort of a tournament style setting, and where it doesn't take more than 2 or 3 weeks to complete.
What's the cutoff date for college football? When do they need to get? Have you talked to any coaches? Like, okay, we got to get our players in by this time, or we can't really start this on time.
Yeah, I think you know, just from having conversations with folks back channels and so forth, I think a lot of them feel like if August 1st this thing isn't ready to go, then you're really hurting the preparation. These guys need a month to get their bodies physically ready, especially since they haven't been in gyms. A lot of these guys are doing workouts at home to keep themselves in shape. But you and I know, I mean, that doesn't compare to being in the gym and having a trainer and being able to go as intensely as you need to go. So I think if we get to August 1st and this thing is still looking like it's not going to happen, I think that's probably the cutoff date in my mind. I would say maybe even July 1st if they start to feel like, hey, there's just no way we're going to be ready by August 1st. You know, that they decide, you know, either trim the season back and say, hey, we're not going to play games in September. We'll start in October and maybe just play conference games, things of that nature. I think maybe then. But even still, football is a sport. I mean, look, man, I think we could all watch basketball without fans in a small arena if it's a tournament-style type setting. But a football season, you know, home field advantage, all of those factors that go into this, it seems weird. Life has to be normal to play a football game. There's no way you could do football in this sort of environment that we have right now.
Yeah, and look, we have to be careful. Look at the Chinese Basketball Association. They came back too early. They started respreading again the virus, and now they have canceled it indefinitely because they just don't know when they get. And that's the other thing, that when we do get back, we got to make sure that we're back where we can get back to normalcy. Because if we don't, then we're going to create an even bigger problem setting ourselves back.
I fully agree with you, man. I mean, again, I don't think this gets resolved, man, until there's a vaccine of some sort for people to take. It's just not going to happen, because even if the numbers and the curves start to go back down and normalize and you know, the deaths start to drop, you can't just open. I mean, think of how we interact with each other. I mean, going to the airport. And we're going to keep the airport shut all this time? Are people not going to go back on cruise ships? I mean, life as we know it is not going to change until there's vaccines and ways to protect yourself against it. So I just don't see how there's any sort of normalcy until then.
I'm with you there. Just out of curiosity, my brother, I know it's an interesting challenge for me to do, 3 hours, 4 hours of sports talk when there isn't a lot of sports going on. How about for you? How's this challenge now, having to write?
It's interesting. I think The Athletic, we've been trying to do a lot of sort of lists and looking at sports from a different angle. Obviously, we could sit here and talk about the season and focus on the roster and, when football resumes, what are the Hurricanes going to look like? But we're so far away from it that we're doing sort of more of a broader approach of journalism of, hey, we've got plenty of history to write about, interesting stories, interesting moments. And so I've kind of put my energy into going on YouTube and finding these football games from the Hurricanes past. So I've done these big, long takeout articles reviewing the greatest games in the Schnellenberger era, the greatest games in the Jimmy Johnson era. And we just did a South Florida Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame for The Athletic, the first chapter of the inaugural 25 selections. Andre Fernandez and I are working on, it's kind of a fun story that, the greatest jersey numbers in South Florida history, which player is the best number one in all of our teams down here in South Florida, which player is the best number two, all the way up to 99. So we're doing these sort of like fun, interesting projects that hopefully take people's minds off of coronavirus, because we could sit here and write about when coronavirus ends, how life is going to be. But I think more than anything, we're trying to be a source of entertainment, a place where people can go and read stuff and have debate and have sort of fun discussions, versus keeping the concentration on everything we're seeing in the news and all the ugly numbers and statistics that are out there. If we can be a distraction, then we're doing our job.
That's you've done a really good job with that, and that's and in a way. So give me a fun fact that you didn't realize that you discovered throughout this process.
Well, just going and doing those stories specifically about the Schnellenberger era and the JJ era, which is late '79 all the way to about '88 when JJ was there, that 10-year span. With Schnellenberger, for instance, I mean, just seeing some of the game footage. For instance, the FAMU Miami game when Miami was upset in '79 by Florida A&M. Who would imagine that happening in today's world, right? A team like FAMU with Bill Cookman beating Miami, but it actually happened back in '79. This is the first time I had ever seen footage of it. I had always heard about this game that took place, 40 years ago, and this big upset, but I had never seen any of the footage. It was cool to find some of that stuff, to find some of the footage of Miami's upset of Penn State in '81 at home in the Orange Bowl. I didn't even realize that Miami had beaten a #1 ranked team in Penn State in '81. I had always heard about the Jim Kelly game in '79 when they went up there and beat Penn State, but I didn't even know that in '81 they had beaten those guys. I wasn't alive. I mean, I was alive, but I was 2 years old when that happened, 3 years old. So I didn't know any of that stuff had happened. So it was cool just doing that kind of research. Jimmy Johnson, his first salary at the University of Miami, he left Oklahoma State making $80,000. He got hired at Miami making $160,000 a year when the Hurricanes hired him. I mean, there's little factoids, nerdy type stuff. If you're a hardcore Hurricanes fan, things that'll open your eyes. You'll be like, wow, I didn't know that. Or maybe it'll remind you of something that you knew years ago that when it happened. The whole Tom Olivadotti thing was amazing. I didn't even realize how, before Jimmy Johnson got hired, what a push Miami fans were making for them to hire Olivadotti as Schnellenberger's replacement. I didn't realize it was that big of a deal, but it was a big push. And hiring Jimmy, everybody was sort of upset with Sam Jankovic at the time when he decided to do that. And, look what ended up happening.
Yeah.
Jimmy took the program to another level. So there's a lot of fun little stuff that you can find. And I've got a membership to newspapers.com, which is it's $65, I think, every 6 months or a year, whatever it is. But it's worth it because you can actually search all the newspaper archives that are available on there. And so I'm digging through these old newspaper articles and reading stuff. Again, if you want to geek out, if you got all this time on your hands, you can certainly read what I've been writing at The Athletic, what Andre Fernandez and others have been doing, because we've been sort of taking a deep dive into history, and finding cool stuff for you to read and to watch online.
That is that's really cool, man. That you guys have been able to do that. It's an interesting way. The one good thing for all of us now, at later on this month, we've got UFC's trying to get their UFC 49 on the 18th. Interesting because ESPN and UFC are in bed together. So now the Jordan thing will be on the 19th, and that'll run for a few days. And then we've got the NFL draft. So the second half of April, we're gonna have something to at least watch. So that's something to look forward to.
Absolutely, and there's plenty on Netflix. I mean, did you see the Tiger King series?
Yes.
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I just finished it last night. That is one dysfunctional freaking group of people, bro. Wow. Holy crap.
I also came across something that blew my mind, and again, if you're bored and you're looking for stuff on YouTube, there's a lot of content on there, but there's this footage of people living in the jungle, building houses out of literally trees, bamboo, and at first I was like, "There's no way I'm going to watch this," and I put it on for a couple minutes. I was like, "All right, I got to see how this dude is going to build like an entire house." And it's I'm telling you, I know sports is we got nothing going on right now with sports. If you've got time, look up Jungle Survival on YouTube. And click, and you're going to be blown away how these guys are building pools in the middle of the jungle, like actual pools. How they're building these houses that are multiple floors, and you're just like, wow. It's like how do human beings create these kind of things? It just kind of it captures your attention, man. There's a lot to do out there on the internet, man. You will not be bored.
So what's it called? Jungle Survivors?
Jungle Survival.
Survival.
Yeah, literally. You've got people who live in the jungle. I don't know who decided to do this thing where you go out there with a camera and record this, but essentially it's sort of like sped up video. So it shows them digging into the ground, creating these gigantic holes, and sort of building these underground houses, and then using bamboo and wood out in the jungle along with vines as rope. I mean, it's amazing the stuff that they build. Look it up on YouTube, Jungle Survival, and they've got a bunch of videos of amazing things. They're like 15, 20, 30 minutes long, but they show you the construction of how they build these houses in the middle of the jungle out of natural resources. It's pretty amazing.
That's awesome, man. Yep. I've been doing a lot of concerts and music and stuff like that, so I've been able to entertain myself. Since I can't go to real concerts,
you play the old ones.
That's kind of although, some artists are being real cool. They're at home and they're like turning on their social media and they're playing live concerts for us and they're playing a couple songs and stuff. So that's been really cool too, man. I mean, Metallica does well. They're replaying concerts, but some other bands are actually doing live stuff. So that's pretty cool too. Like Elton John had his over the weekend. That was actually really nice.
No, that's neat. Yeah, I've seen some of the online stuff that they've been doing, and I've been watching some of the late night TV hosts, Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, and doing stuff from home, some of their shows. It's been nice to see that the entertainment world has continued to try to produce stuff to keep us entertained throughout this time.
Yeah, that's why the UFC and the NFL are so dead set on trying to get their sports on whatever they can, because they know that they're going to have ratings like they've never had in their entire lives, because everybody's home, dude. So even people that aren't that interested, I mean, the draft ratings this year are going to be, I mean, incredible, bro. Incredible.
Yep.
Everybody's home.
It's amazing in this country how much entertainment we had, with sports and everything else. It kind of took it for granted, but we would fill up our days with sports and sports conversation. And, it's amazing what's happened when we hit the pause button. It's to see what else is out there, to see how people are trying to pass the time. It's nice to see, though, that people have a good attitude about it, and I think that's one thing throughout this horrible process of waiting for this coronavirus and the poor people struggling to deal with it, is just seeing how some people are just really good at heart. Some of the nice shows of kindness that you've seen out there, the videos of people cheering on the hospital workers and everything else. It's been nice to see some of that as well.
I agree. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. And, of course, you can catch him here with the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report. Manny, as always, you are a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time, and stay safe. Stay corona-free, man.
Same to you, my friend. Love you, man. Talk to you later.
Un abrazo. There you go. Much love, as always, from my man, Manny Navarro. Good stuff, as always. Appreciate him.